Welcome back to Canceled Weekly. I'm Candice Horback. This is Mickey Gall. We've got Gerard Michaels. This week,
we got Chad Ochocinco on Club Shay Shay. All this and more on Canceled Weekly.
Having intercourse with someone that you have feelings about and that you love, and hearing her say, go deeper. Stay with me, y'all. Go deeper. And mind you, as she continues to whisper this in my ear, I'm already all the way in. So then, subconsciously, mentally, I'm gone. My ego, I'm hurt, and that's something I don't wish on no man.
She already knew, Ocho. She knows you were a shore fisherman.
Yeah.
You ain't no deep sea fisherman. You ain't got that kind of meat on you.
Yeah.
You ain't got that kind of line.
You know that.
George, what are you talking about?
I don't come with scuba gear.
Ocho.
I don't come with scuba gear. I told her, and I ain't really been the same.
So I thought that was an interesting clip. I thought we could maybe the boys could throw it around and we could ask Candice some questions and she could speak on behalf of women. Answer all these questions. Men, there's this interesting dance that goes on between men and women. Men think they know what women want. You know what I mean? And I think Candice can cut all the BS out and give you all the straight facts right now, today. So Candice, is it the size of the boat or the motion of the ocean? Or is it both? Please indulge us and our curious male audience.
it's both. I'm sorry.
Told you, G.
It's both. It's both. And I know that's probably not the answer that anyone wants because it's like the one is out of your hands.
Not?
Because the one is out of your hands, right? Like, unfortunately, It's one of the things that like women can get modulated, right? We can do tune-ups. We can add like a and upgrade ourselves in a lot of ways. Men, it's like you're born with what you have, and God either like gave you something awesome.
I think there's like surgeries and stuff now for guys.
No. Don't do any of that stuff, guys. It is not good, especially down the road. Like, don't do any of the surgeries. It's very, 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 very bad. Listen to a professional. Don't do it. They do work, but it's temporary, and you just destroyed yourself.
Really?
Yeah. And you don't have to be huge. I think this is maybe the saving grace is everyone thinks like you're supposed to be like this monster that you see on all these tube sites. It's not the case. Most women actually like run scared from that. It's not something they enjoy. I think like if five or more, you're in the clear. Inches, you jerk.
If you don't have 5 foot,
a humble 5 foot.
No, 5 inches. I think you're in the clear. Now you have something that you can work with, but you also need to know how to operate.
But I think there could be. I think some people might just not be able to do the rhythm too.
Yeah, practice.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah, you'd think that, but I would think that. Obviously, we professionals would think that, but like
guys both mount a lot of dudes.
But yeah, I think some people are like rhythmically challenged. You know what I mean? They probably don't know what they're doing. I think that now I feel like there's supposed to be a little bit of it's supposed to hurt a little bit for the girl. Thoughts on that?
Oh no! It's not supposed to hurt.
None of it?
No.
None of it?
No.
Not supposed to get tossed around or grabbed and roughed?
That's not hurt though.
That's how Mickey gets his feelings hurt.
Listen.
The same way Chad Ochocinco
say if it doesn't hurt, it's not right.
The same way Chad's feelings were hurt in the video, Mickey's feelings get hurt when she's like, "I'm sorry if I'm hurting you, girl." She's like, "Nah, I'm fine." He's like, "I'm sorry if I'm hurting you." I'm good.
Well, I guess it depends on how you're defining hurt. Like, there's obviously kink and S&M play, and pain does play a significant role within that dynamic.
With me, I don't want it to hurt, but I feel like that's a difference between men and women. I think a woman wants to be kind of dominated.
That's different than hurt.
And like
you want to feel strength. I would say I want to feel strength. You know what I mean? Like, I want to feel pressure and like energy in the things that you're doing. I don't want you to kind of dead fish right? And just like
Why'd you look at me? Why'd you look at me? Huh?
I'm just like
I think this is good. This is good stuff. The audience wants to hear this.
They do want to hear.
I'm fine with it. I'm just trying not to get a boner.
No, you want to have energy in the things that you do. I think if you're introducing pain into the equation, that obviously has to be like a very specific conversation. Because,
Yeah, how would that conversation go?
Well, you have to obviously have a safe word, and then you have your yeses and your nos.
If it's too hard, they'll say like "ouch" or "ow." That
well,
hurts
that shouldn't hurt. No. I think anyone that's a girl that's saying that, I would not trust her. I would say that there's something kooky upstairs because it's not like that's supposed to feel good, and that's different. That's different than going hard.
Like this, you're talking about.
We're talking about like the
vaginal,
right? The vaginal region. That's
not
supposed to hurt.
Butt stuff this whole time?
Huh?
Have you been talking butt stuff?
Because that's a totally different conversation.
Not at all. No,
that's a whole other thing.
I was more almost talking about like gripping them up and.
Yeah, that's hot.
Around a little bit, like little.
Yeah, I think most women are into that, but that's not her. Yeah, that's not her. That's just like.
But I have also heard girls say if it's not, aggressive. I think that's maybe a better way of putting it. But a direct quote is if it doesn't hurt, it's not.
She's full of shit. The girl that says that is just like putting on a facade. And she's
trying to be tough.
Run the other way because she's probably a little crazy. It shouldn't hurt, and I think that. Like women, you want it, like we were like, oh, you're so big, it hurts. Like it shouldn't hurt.
Right.
Because, and your cervix is only so deep. So that's why, again, it's like wasted real estate if you got these like giant dudes because it literally can't go anywhere.
Then you don't get the whole thing in.
And you can actually hurt her.
Can't go balls deep.
And honestly.
But I was just saying from the male standpoint too, if you can't go balls deep.
Yeah, if you can't, yeah. And you're missing all the good stuff too because like the highest concentration of nerve endings inside of a woman is like anywhere from like 3 to like 5 inches in there, or maybe even 3 to 4.5. So if you're going
almost made it, Christian.
If you're going too deep, you're missing all those nerve endings as well.
Not for me. My nerve endings are enjoying the little ridge you hit there at the back of the. It's like finding the
planting a flag.
Yeah, we made it. And I think that this whole conversation is probably how the metric system started. Because they were like 4 inches. No, it's 9 centimeters. No, we're gonna go with 9. Everybody here agrees 9. We're 12. 12. We got 12 centimeters here. And Europe was like, yeah, we're going metric. I think. I think we're going. How many centimeters to an inch, Chris?
Oh, Gerard, what a nerd! You're gonna start talking math here.
How many centimeters are there in an inch? 2.54. I mean, you could be out there talking like,
So obviously it's going to be
20
different.
Centimeters.
Different to. I'm sorry, Gerard.
Yeah, we're just glazing.
I'm gonna go back to where we were. What would obviously everyone's going to be different. What would be too big?
Too big for most women, I think is probably going to be over like the 7 range. Wow. 7 or 8, I think is probably going to be considered too big.
Interesting.
And then you have girth.
Is that a round? Because I think I think we're ignoring girth here.
Yeah, girth is important.
Very important.
Right.
Yeah, that feeling of like feeling full is important.
Yeah. Like width.
Feeling full.
I think that's honestly more that makes a bigger difference than length for most women is circumference.
Yeah. So Gerard's been living off of for years.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the funniest part of that clip was like Chad Ochocinco admitting that and Shad had thrown him under the bus going like, you ain't got that fishing gear. It's
yeah. I got short pole. Yeah. I respect him for it.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing is like the statues in antiquity, they all have like tiny little dangalangs.
Well, do you know why?
It was considered savage
to have a
like unruly. Like,
but I heard it's also not to take away, if you got a big old cock hanging off this statue, it's going to take away from kind of the rest of the artwork. You know what I mean? That's what I've heard as well, that they make them small for that reason as well.
Do you think so? Do you think the guy that was the model for like the statue of David was like, hey, bud, can I have a word? I think you did great.
Only a couple inches here. You chiseled off a little too much.
I think we did good with the abs notes, But
no, think about it, right? If there was like a fucking
maybe we call it the Temple of Sean or something like.
If there's a 9-incher hanging off the thing, that'd be all that anyone could like talk about. Mm-hmm. It would take away from the rest of the artwork.
When do you think like the leaves and stuff came in? When did the laurels come in?
There's when was it? One of the popes did it when when David was getting put into the Vatican. So it was I did this because I had a podcast recently that I was talking about like what is considered obscene and what is considered porn and what is considered art and not art, because a big conversation for a lot of history were these statues, and there have been times where the church would come in and they would actually just chisel them off, and then there was a whole movement called the fig leaf censorship, and then that was someone's job was to go around all these statues and put the fig leaves on top. So it just depended on the culture, but I think it started in the 1400s. I could be wrong.
Can you give a tip to some males out there that they can learn from to up their game?
Yes. So 2 books that I would highly recommend is
books.
You can do the audio. You can do the audiobook. Listen, do you want to be a sex god or not? You know what I mean? You got to do the work. She Comes First is a really good book for men, and then Come As You Are. Come As You Are is more anatomy based, but it's really important, I think, because it explains turn on for women and how it's different for most women compared to most men, and then how to identify which one you are, and then how to get over what she calls your breaks. And these are all the things that get in the way of arousal. So both of those books are really important. And then also communication with your person. So like put your feelings aside, and if for some reason like that's like not something you guys are excelling at, like be open to experimenting, like bring in toys. You can, like, if you're not very big down there, like you can use fingers instead of.
Why do you keep looking at me?
Because I always look at you more because it's just my chair's turned this way.
Look that way. Look at Christian.
Talk to me.
You can okay. So, he doesn't want to be a part of this conversation. So if you're not big enough, then you can like add fingers in while you're having sex, and then that's like another way.
That sounds kind of sad.
No, because here's the thing, even if you are big and like maybe she's just used to you at this point, and then you can like kind of surprise her in a good way. So it's not always because of a deficit, but I think it's so like
you say toys.
And, make sure you're using lube. I think this is something everyone is.
Lube.
Yes, everyone sleeps on this. Most women don't have enough time to fully get aroused. And if she's not aroused, like she's not wet enough, she's not open enough, you're not going to get to where you need to be. She's not going to feel what she's supposed to be feeling, because it's just like your speed up time is very different than her speed up time. So if you add lube, it just makes more pleasure for both people. And then there's less friction, which is actually a good thing when it comes to penetration. So lube.
Manja.
Just have it by the side of the bed, right? Like it's not going to be weird. It's better that you're prepared than like, oh, well, I thought you'd bring something.
People think like
it just
lube
shows
is
that
weird?
you're really considerate. Yeah, some people do, and some women get self-conscious about it because they think that they're supposed to be like super wet all the time, but like you...
Yeah, or they think they're broken.
Or she'll be like, I don't want him to think that I'm not into him, or like I'm broken is a big thing women say all the time. So just like skip it. It's not, or like skip like that mental load you're doing and just like add a little bit of lubricant. Make it
I don't
slippery.
like that women won't use toys
On you?
that they
Women use toys all
have
the
not
time.
bought themselves. Like, am I just supposed to throw this stuff out now because
saying?
my
You-
ex and I broke up?
Dishwasher?
Use another toy on. You can't reuse your toys.
Gerard, more correctly. You can't tell them that.
No, but they want to see you take it out of the package. I gotta like get one of those. I gotta get one of those things where it's like you can burn the plastic back so it looks like I'm opening it up on the plastic.
Oh
again.
my
Just
gosh.
gaslight this
No.
is expensive stuff. Like, why? What is
She
this, single use?
She probably has her own stuff. I'm sure. Have her bring her own, or you buy something together and then she gets to keep it.
Okay.
You don't reuse toys.
I'm thinking of the environment. These are
I'm
plastics.
thinking about her environment,
You guys
her
ever notice that when a
ecosystem.
girl's like riding on top, when they're at the top of you, their ass like almost goes up, and then when they're at the bottom, their hips like kind of go forward. That makes sense.
Scoop.
Scoop.
It's a
That's
scoop.
what you call that?
It's a scoop. Yeah.
What's the story with that? What do you?
Well, it's
what's
the
your-
same
what's
reason
your- what
that
you
some guys
feeling
are
there?
curved, right? So what you see with the woman's clit is like maybe 5% of what's actually there. It actually kind of looks like a root.
5%? It's like an iceberg?
Like an iceberg, yeah. So what's underneath it is like this really delicate and intricate root system that goes inside, and that's what people think is a G spot. It's not really a spot. It's more of like an isolated location. And within that location, that's like all of the nerve endings. So you can stimulate it from the top, but most of it's underneath. So that's why like a lot of toys are curved. Some guys are curved. The motion that most women like is more of like a swoop versus like an in and out. Like you want to kind of scoop.
I feel like that's some good ass advice right there.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, questions? Come on, man. This is your chance, bro. I know you've been sitting on some things over there, boy.
Yeah, well, you know, my first ex-wife went ahead and put her finger in my bunghole there, and I said, that's the demon spot, so we went ahead and cut her finger off. And
Finger.
She didn't like that particularly much.
How about this? So take a woman like yourself. You're in the adult industry. You're working with some big machinery.
Yeah.
Now that could intimidate a more like normal guy to think like I would never be able to like please her. Is that the case, or
No.
is there like I'd say almost like a malleability where like the shape will change? Like if your partner's like really big.
Are you asking if you're loose after?
I guess kinda. I don't know about going back and forth between sizes. Like
So-
I think men could think if like it was like a huge like dick, it would could almost like ruin the girl. You know what I'm saying?
That's a huge misconception. So in the immediate time space, like let's say you hook up with somebody and they're big, and then you very quickly after, like we'll say like the next day or two, hook up with someone and they're smaller. Yes, there's going to be a difference because it does take some time for that to like go back. But when you have
and
sex,
you wouldn't feel satisfied or like
probably
full.
with the smaller guy, no. Not if it was immediately after, but like most women aren't really doing that. There's not jumping from guy to guy. But when you are sleeping with different people and different sizes, it's actually similar to lifting weights, but for your Kegel muscles. So it actually strengthens your pelvic floor versus just being with one. So over time, it actually makes the woman tighter. And people are gonna be like, oh, of course you're saying that.
Variability would make them tighter?
Yeah, it does, yeah. So a lot of women that were in the industry have historically had difficult labors, like birthing labors from what I've heard, just like the people I speak to. And it's because you hold so much more tension there. So the act of actually releasing and loosening was harder. And I don't know if maybe there's like a psychological element of vulnerability there too, because like we all made that choice to get into the industry. But I do know that births were a little bit longer and more difficult compared to my industry friends. But no, it doesn't make you looser. It actually makes you tighter, which is not necessarily a good thing, because I think when a woman is seizing up and she can't relax into sex, it actually doesn't feel as good for her, which makes it not as enjoyable for the man. And like, again, you're not going to be able to get into those spaces that you want to get into. Now, childbirth is an entirely different story, and that you have to actively spend a lot of time to repair to be able to get back to normal. But you can get back to normal. It just takes a lot of conscious effort.
Well, it's always like women now. Like guys don't talk about each other like this. Like even Chad Ochocinco and Shay Shay, they were making fun of each other. Like, you know, you practice jujitsu. You guys just wear like spats, little tiny spandex things, and you know somebody's taking your back, and you feel like, you know, oh, this guy's got a big old piece of deal. You say, hey man, good for you, buddy, good for you.
Good question,
that was a
Jake.
different language to me.
Yeah, so he's saying if you know, we're rolling around and we have like tight clothes on, and you could like either see or feel someone's.
You're like, oh, good for you.
It's just rubbing along your tailbone, you know, as he takes your back.
Yeah.
I need to get into jiu-jitsu. Tell me more. What's this mount you speak?
Oh, you're gonna love this thing called North-South. Let me tell you.
It's bad. So it's almost it's like a few degrees off of a 69, just a little bit more separated. But nah, there'll be times when someone's like will be like kind of like outrageous and like out there. You don't really talk about it.
That's why I think everybody needs like an Australian on the team, because you just give them, you know, the Australian would have no problem going on and be like, hey, good for you, bud.
Hey, just give it a flick.
Give it a little flick. Yeah. But it's always women. It's always women. It's like they're, you break up with somebody or they get mad at you. And you're like, you little dick motherfucker. It's like, no, that's not what you were saying.
No one ever said that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But it's that's clearly where it comes from, right? I mean, even the women have to know they're lying half the time when they say that shit, but they just it's like they have it in the holster, ready to go. They got,
yeah, we can be real mean when we want to be.
Yeah, but women know. She's like, that girl knew exactly what she was doing when he was like, what? I can't.
She was just trying to like fuck with them?
Probably.
Think?
Yeah, I think so.
But sometimes you deal with something that is less than desirable, and then at the end you're like, freedom, and you can actually say what you've been wanting to say. But
how graphic do you gals get like when you get together, like talking about either your significant others or like, because like guys would be like, we'll talk about like anything. Like
not really graphic. No, it'll more just be like, oh, the other night was like really good, or you'll say like if you're having problems, but it's not usually specifics. I have girls that ask me about like their own stuff in bed, like how to have more pleasure, because it's something that a lot of women struggle with. Like it's just not as easy. Everything down there is way more complicated than it is for a guy. So I often am trying to like instruct women on how to have that be more enjoyable.
Yeah. I have a book I'm going to write on it called An Hour of Foreplay is Too Fucking Long. Figure it out.
Oh, my gosh. Gerard.
Forward by and stop texting.
What you got over there, Christian? You got anything for the young boys?
I can't think of any questions. I think they were all answered.
Yeah, check out both of those books. I think it'll be really helpful.
They both have "come" in the title. What was the name?
Come As You Are and She Comes First.
Okay. What do you think about women that, when you're on a date with them, always talk about other men? What is that about?
No, you can't do that.
Right?
That's weird.
That's weird.
That's real. I would never do that.
Nonstop.
No, that's really weird.
Now, I've had people tell me that means she's really into you and she's nervous and she's trying to like, and I've had other people
like impress you.
So it seems.
It seems like, but I know this is a thing with your dating pool, like we talked about.
They talk about other guys.
It's a very, very big South Florida thing, man. Like you'll be like, they'll be like, oh, I heard you were a professional baseball player. Well, I dated blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. All right. Like,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
I think other girls can be impressed by that, so maybe they're used to bragging to their girlfriends, but like ladies, if you're listening, you never do that.
Yeah, man. It happens a lot though.
Yeah, that does not work.
It's like shocking. To the point where it's like, do you want me to leave? Or like, and it's not a jealousy thing or anything like that. It's just like, I don't fucking
like a turn off, right?
Yeah, it's almost like it's like disrespectful. It's like, I don't want to sit here and talk about these other motherfuckers all damn day. Like,
unless that's his kink, and then by all means go ahead, like a cuck.
Into like,
yeah, and that word is so misused too. Yeah, it's like meant as an insult, which I don't understand because it's just a fetish. It's like a fetish like anything else. So if you're calling someone a cuck and they are a cuck, like that's not offensive because they're like, yeah, I'm a cuck.
Do you know that bunny ears? Like doing like bunny ears behind someone's head. Those are called cuckold's horns.
Is that right?
And they would kind of do that to be like, hey, I'm like fucking this dude's wife.
Oh, really?
Is that right?
Yeah. It was called cuckold's horns. It was kind of like yeah.
That's really what we got Alexander Hamilton shot.
Mostly,
a lot of guys' wives. He was a Lothario, as it were. Yeah, I don't know. I just had a viral video called Cucks for Kamala where I made fun of everybody that's a white guy on that, Ben Stiller and all those guys. So, I mean, look, you could say, like, if you're a cuck, you're a cuck. Good for you. I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't necessarily have to
watching porn
respect
is a little bit like cucking yourself.
I've heard that.
You shouldn't respect it.
It's like, I want to bang this chick, so I'm going to watch someone else do it.
But then isn't watching football cucking yourself? Isn't watching...
Why, like, I want to be playing football.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so then you have to think about cucking outside of just a sexual manner.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I only think about cucking within a sexual...
I felt cucked one time by... No, I swear to God. And it ended our relationship. I think I've told you this. I had a birthday, and this girl, who I was dating for a long time at that point, she went through a lot of, like... She wanted to make my perfect day, and we went to go see a Yankee game. And then we got tickets to Sebastian Maniscalco, and she's like getting very mad at me that I'm not having a good time. She's like, I went through a lot, and I was like,
oh, she tried.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
It's a sweet notion. I see exactly what you're saying.
I was like, what else? What's the nightcap here? You're gonna have a fucking better looking version of me fuck you while I watch? Like, what are we? Like, you're okay. I almost made it to the major leagues. Let's watch other guys fucking play baseball.
Better baseball.
Yeah, let's go watch a better comedian and like what else can we? Can you like what like? Said she was like very upset at me, and I was very upset at her. That I was like, you've known me for how long? You think I would like to do any of this?
That's tough because it came from a nice place. It's
Yeah.
like the road to hell paved with good intentions there.
Yeah.
Like she's trying, but she's missing something.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, these are kind of my jobs, right? So it's like, do you want to spend your off day at fucking Staples? like what are we doing here? You know, everybody I tell that story to, I'm the bad guy in the story. I can without even looking, I can sense it. But
but you're allowed to have those feelings as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can.
It was just like, bro.
But is that kind of like another deadly sin? Envy or jealousy? Is that what's happening there?
Or
Probably. All of it. Yeah, all of it.
It's
You know,
definitely wrath.
but to me, I guess the thing that I was like most upset would be like, it was almost her projection of things that like, I thought it was things that she wishes I was instead of what I am.
That's
Because
in
she
your head,
knows.
dog.
Yeah, that's
It
an
is, but it's
assumption.
also not, because I'm like, she should have known better. I would never have wanted to do those things. Like, you know, it wasn't like my first year with her. Like there's no way for my birthday that's what I would have wanted to do. There's no way. You know? So
I think she just messed up on the plan. I don't think she did that to like neg you by any means.
I had another girl that would put up pictures of us when we first started dating. And I was in much better shape in the beginning of a relationship. And like, I didn't really like recognize it at first. Like, but then they were like, they started
She'd like
being,
walk by and be like, "Oh, baby, look how hot you are."
Kind
And
of,
it's like
dude.
At the picture,
Kind
but
of,
not
dude.
you now.
Yes. Like the pictures started being put on magnets, like on the refrigerator, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what's going on here? Are you trying to drop a hint?" Like, and the thing about it was, she finally admitted that she kind of was, but she only admitted it because like she had been doing it for months, and I was so dumb I didn't realize what was happening. So she had to be like, "I tried to give some hints here."
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what if she was direct? Would that have gone better, you think?
100%.
Yeah.
1000%.
She's like, "Baby, you're getting heavy." Like
100%.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like deep in depression
I
and all
think
this other
direct
shit.
is
You don't
the
know.
best route.
I'm telling you, you wake up one day and you're fucking 50 pounds over your weight, and you're like, when did this happen?
And I think that could be a hard thing for men and women as well, because sometimes like if like as a man you want to see your woman happy, right? But you as a woman, you don't want to have to you don't have to be like a mom and be like, "I want you to clean the dishes, and I want you to clean the room, I want you to do these things." You know what I mean? But we're like, if you just tell me, like, I'll want to do that because I want to see you happy. You know what I mean? I think there's a communication kind of almost like a standstill sometimes between men and women.
It's funny, but it's men and men too, because
But we like to be direct.
But it's men and men also, because my father and I, those are big arguments we used to have when I'd be like, "Bro, just tell me to take the garbage out."
It's like, I don't want to have to tell you.
And
I
he said,
want
the
you to
fact
do
that
it.
I have to tell you is what pisses me off. And you kind of get that. You get it. It's like, but I don't see what you see. I don't know. I have complete blind spots. Like, my mom will get upset whenever I go home and I don't compliment on how nice the landscaping looks. And I'm like, Ma, I got to be honest, I've never fucking once looked at it. And it looks great. I think it's, but it doesn't even register for me to like look around and say like, "Oh, wow, it's a new rose bush." Like, it doesn't even register.
I find those shortcomings unfortunate because like everyone's is well intentioned there, but someone's you don't want to hurt your mom, you know, but that's the result.
My dad was really good with that. He still is really good at that. But he'll like shoot a text and be like, "Hey, make sure you tell your mother that the garden looks nice."
So he learned. He's like, "This kid won't take out the trash. I'm gonna have to really tell him every."
He's a good guy. He's got your back.
Yeah.
He's like, let's. And also for him at this point, at this stage in life, there's nothing more important than peace. He's like, before this even has an opportunity, before my moron kid even has a chance to fail this test,
my wife,
that he doesn't know this pop quiz that's about to hit him. Hey, your mom spent all morning planting new, blah, blah, blah. You make sure you compliment it. You got it, 100%. So,
anything else, Mama Candice?
No, I would say anything when it comes to communication, especially between men and women. I don't know if I've plugged this book or not, but it's called The Queen's Code by Allison Armstrong. All of her content is amazing. I highly recommend it for men and women. I think another really good one is Keys to the Kingdom. But she explains the differences in hormones and male brains versus female brains, and just that energetic masculine versus the feminine as well. And she kind of demystifies a lot of like these really typical every single day arguments. And I think that what is so important about that, especially with something like the trash, is these little things that go unchecked for so long are what creates the really big problems. So if you can kind of figure out, how do I stop getting yelled at for not taking the hamper into the laundry room, or picking up my clothes, or taking out the trash, or she needs to like stop nagging me, whatever, like those typical things that happen day in and day out in a relationship, she can help both of you see
avoid
and
those
fix
landmines.
it. Yeah, it's not even avoiding it. It's just like understanding the way that we even see this room is going to be entirely different just because of hormones.
Our eyes are going to see a different thing.
Right. Yeah. And just like to honor that instead of trying to change it, and then how you can work together and then bring out the best in each other.
Well, have you ever seen that the philosophy professor who had half of the room over here, half of the room over here, and they shined a light through a prism, and what did you see? What did you see? And this side was like, it's a circle. The whole side says, and then this side, it's a square. And they saw a square and they saw a circle because it was a cylinder. And from their perspective, the light shining through was in fact a circle. And through their perspective, the light shining through was in fact a square. So these people are occupying, it's one object, but they're occupying two realities based on their perspective. It's very, very interesting to see that. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. What are your thoughts on that? Because when I was younger, that was like the go-to, like self-help, avoid a divorce book. And then it's been kind of pilloried and it's been seen as controversial, but it seems to be going all the way.
It's coming back into popularity.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on men are from Mars and women are from Venus? That's what it is, right? Men are from Mars, women?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think for way too long we've been trying to pretend that women are the same as men, and it's gotten us into a lot of trouble. And then I think when we expect a man to be just like a big hairy lady, and he doesn't show up that way, we punish him for it, because that's what it is. It's like when you get the wives that are habitually mad at their husbands, it's because she's expecting him to be the perfect woman. And the minute that you can admit that you're not the perfect woman, you can take him off the hook for not being the perfect woman.
Interesting.
And you can see him for the man that he is, and then after that you can move closer to resolution and to whatever your arguments are, or wherever it is that you're seeing things different. But the female brain, in short, we're very threat oriented, which is why women tend to be more neurotic than men, because we're just like the weaker of the sex. So we have to be a little bit more hyper vigilant just for preservation purposes, especially when you have kids. So I think that actually probably amplifies after a woman has kids. She probably gets a little bit more angsty.
And the man kind of sees it as like annoying hypochondria.
And she's crazy and she just needs to get it together. But so women are constantly scanning. So I'll see 1,000 things in this room before either of you have a chance to. And you guys are very goal oriented and driven, right? Because you're hunters. So you have like more of this narrow vision, and it's like it's single mission oriented. Like you can't really move on to the next thing till you complete said mission. So when you guys are walking through something, and like let's say you're going from your office to your study, and you're like, I have to go get this document or whatever, and you could walk by the full trash, you could walk over your boxers, and you're not going to see it because you're mission oriented, you're focused, and you have that thing, and you can't do anything until you finish it. Meanwhile, she's scanning, and she's like, how did he not see the boxers? How did he not see the trash? How did he not say hello to me? Because we are scanning. So in like a very condensed version, this is a lot of that work. And when you realize that, it's like so liberating, because you're like, he's not being a dick. He doesn't. Right. It's not that he doesn't care. It's just we are different creatures, and it's supposed
like
to be that
it's
way.
It's like, hey, the door's over there. What door? You know, it's very interesting. And also, it seems like the threat assessment is always very different too. Like, we can both see this as a 1% probability that the kid is going to fall down the stairs. But you see that 1% as like way too high. We've got to do something about it. And I see the 1% as like, it's never going to happen. We don't need to, we'll take care of it, but not right now. And it's like that kind of, you know, divide in how seriously are we taking this threat can be seen as either nagging or being aloof, like not, you know, but we're identifying the threat as like, you know, that 1% either really, really matters or doesn't matter. You know, we're both acknowledging that it exists, but it's like, no, he's not going to fall down.
We've talked about this on here before, but they're using a lot of women to be like security guards, or like
Secret Service. There was just a woman left her post to breastfeed.
But like a what's it when like a bodyguard, right? Because they, you know, someone like you and me, like we can beat up pretty much everybody. But a woman has to worry about every single man and a lot of women. So they are better at picking up on threats and like they're more sensitive to those things. So they're better to like be like, all right, this guy's fishy, that person's fishy. You know what I mean? They can kind of pick up on that more.
And the intuition's a very real thing. I mean, the CI spends a lot of money on developing that in their agents and specifically in women. I think that there's just a stronger connection between like those serotonin receptors and then your viscera.
Women's bullshit meters are incredible.
Yes.
They sniff it out immediately. There's never been a time where I was like, where someone suspected me of doing something where I wasn't actually fucking doing it. The women they should be the FBI agents. They're on it nonstop. They pick up the smallest pattern change too. The small, like, why you never chew gum on your way home?
You've seen me do it.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
you pick up pattern changes, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about what do you guys think about how they say?
Well, I also just think you're a witch, though. So there's that.
It's a badge of honor.
How they say men are more logic-based and women are more emotion-based. You guys both agree with that? Because I think so.
Yeah, and that has to do with testosterone and estrogen.
I think that's manifesting itself in our politics, frankly. I think that a huge issue with what we are all living through right now is this massive polarizing, like the poles are shifting. And we're going from masculine-centered societal structures to feminine-centered societal structures, meaning we're going from the age of do it or else, and hey, you've got to hunt if you want to eat, to no, it's okay, give this, you know, everybody comes along, everybody gets a participation trophy, and if you're very masculine-centered, where you have this like, we have an incredible sense of fairness being justice. Like, that's what justice is. Whereas the feminine tends to have justice meaning whoever, the littlest, it's called broken wing theory, the littlest duckling has to come along. Otherwise, the nobody else moves. It doesn't matter how far we move. It doesn't matter how fast we are or how quickly we fly if we don't all fly together. And the masculine is like 8 out of 9 got to fly. And if the one dies, then it dies. But if we don't fly, we're all going to die. And that's those two kind of ideologies. I'm obviously being hyper simplistic here, but those ideologies. So like the communism is the ultimate form of feminism. It's the ultimate femininity when it comes to politics, right? It's the lowest ceiling, the highest floor, and do it or else, right? Whereas capitalism is the lowest floor, but the highest ceiling, and it's like, all right, I'll race you to the top. It doesn't matter who gets left behind. And that kind of
but there's a problem with that too, because then you have companies like DuPont and scandals like Darkwater and scandals like Gen X that are going into the water, and we are just like polluting everything for the sake of profit. Like when we developed Teflon, it was made to protect tanks. Yeah. Right? And then we're like, oh, this is okay to cook with. And then, hey, we're going to poison the water to where all the cattle are dying. People's teeth are falling out and they're getting cancer at like an unbelievable rate. And hope we just don't get caught. And then guess what? Even when they get caught, everyone's getting paid and it's all about climbing and prestige and like who you owe what to. And then no one even went to jail for any of that.
Yeah, they never
so
did.
like, yeah, I think a little bit of feminine needed to be in cases like that. So I think the problem is balance.
I think we're living through an overcorrection. I agree with you.
And that's what's going to happen. And then hopefully you get to like a sweet spot. But like the masculine has also been really devastating too. Like that's not without any flaws.
No, I wasn't making a qualitative judgment. I'm obviously very anti-communist, but all I'm saying is that's the switch that's happening. The switch that's happening is the male-oriented societal structure is now becoming the female-oriented societal structure. And that's a lot of the problem that we're living through is this we're in the middle of this polar shift, you know.
So for me personally, when I was talking about before, like the differences in men and women and the communication and stuff. One, I was projecting in my own relationship was, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I've done since then. So, I have a couch in my room, and like sometimes I'll leave like some clothes on there for like a few days. Cause I like to see it. I don't want to go into the drawer. Like I know it's there. Boom, I'll grab it. It's like quicker for me. But my lovely baby wife don't like that, right? So she told me that, or actually what happened was she was like kind of upset about it. And I was like, you just tell me and I'll get it done. And she was like, I don't want to be your mom. Like, I want you to just do these things. So now she's about to have a baby. So I'm trying, and I know, especially when like the 40 days after that baby's born, that's like the golden month where I really want to be taking care of her. So what I'm starting to do is I'm trying to open up my eyes a little bit. And if I see like there's a couple shoes here, I'll like straighten them up, clean them up. If I see like there's like a dish or something, like I'm starting to try and be proactive. So because I don't want her to have to, I know she's not going to want to ask me, period. But especially when, she's recovering and, dealing with the baby and stuff like that. So that's something that a correction I'd say that I'm trying to make to like be better and make my relationship better and make her feel, because at the end of the day, I want her to be happy. And it's what's easiest for me is I'm like, baby, just tell me and I'll do it because I want to see you happy. But what's going to be even better is if she doesn't have to tell me, if I could just figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, tell me once, and then after that, I kind of fucked up. I will agree with the woman on that one. Like, if I didn't see it, I won't know it's there because I just don't see it, to your point. But then after you've told me, if I don't do it, yeah, I guess that one's
those things might start adding up, though, boy. It might start piling up. It's like, I got to do the trash and the this. And
Yeah.
No, it is a lot. And I don't know that you ever get to a point where it gets to a point of mind reading and you can kind of predict. I think that would be ideal, but I think you could be with someone for decades and there's still going to be stuff that you don't assume.
Blind spots.
Yeah, you're both going to have them, and I think that it's just like how do you express what your needs in loving kindness, and how do you meet them without being defensive? And it's hard because like it's always changing. Your dynamic between the relationship is always changing. So I think it's accepting no one's going to be perfect, and then just trying to be a little bit better every day.
Okay, I'll give you one. And then this is everybody always says I was the bad guy in this situation as well, but I, to this day, believe I was right. First girl I ever lived with, first girl I thought like legitimately I'd marry. I come home.
What was her name in social?
Yeah, I come home from work and I was working in pharma sales at the time, and I was making, for the first time in my life, making real money. And I'd come home, and it was a Friday. We had a joint bank account. I come home, and there's a whole, like, what do they call those? Entertainment centers for under the TV. Yeah. Sitting there in boxes. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, oh, surprise, I bought us an entertainment center. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then she's like, and I just feel, she got us like 2 bottles of wine. She was like, I thought this would be like a great Friday. We're going to put this together. And I'm like, you think after fucking 60-hour week, I want to put together a fucking entertainment center that I bought with my money? I was like, why don't you just pay the extra $100 to have somebody make it? Like, do it. And she just like sprung this on me. And I'm sitting here like, dude, I don't want this. Like, this is not what I want. Like, what are we doing here? And she like got very upset. And I'm like, wait till tomorrow. I'll go get somebody at Home Depot to put this shit together. I do not want to fucking do this.
I see both sides
No?
here. I think she's
there you go.
I think Candice gonna flame you. But
Go for it. I've been flamed.
Listen, I see where you're coming from. You just been busting your ass. You've been, making the donuts. You get home. You want to chill out a little bit.
I got work.
She's giving you an assignment that you just paid for that assignment as well, right?
Correct.
But now, she, in her mind, in her girl brain, which is different than our guy brains, she's like, oh, this would be a cool thing. We're going to bond. We're going to do this thing.
Time together.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
She's probably like, I'm going to put on my overalls and put on some music, and this is going to be so cute.
And that's the thing. She's got it all planned out in her head, and she's excited about it, and then you just took a dump right on it.
I did.
Yeah.
I big time did.
Yeah, you're a big jerk. You're a big jerk, Gerard.
Did I just nail it, or was that? Or was
You
there
yeah,
more
it's
to it?
yeah.
But you see his side as well.
I do, but that's
So he's just gotta
yeah.
nut up and shut up and do the thing.
Yeah, you see how excited she is and how happy she is. That's love. It
Just
is.
shut up and do it. That's love.
If there's something that your partner is like has been looking forward to, has planned,
He's been
and
looking forward to chilling.
you can chill any other time. She put together like an activity for you to do together, and she has like this whole thing of how it was going to be a Julia Roberts movie, and then you're like, "Fuck you and your Julia Roberts movie." Like that sucks.
Yeah, dude.
Christian really missed when we both went. When we hit that before.
Look,
I think there's only so many times that you can turn down someone's hand when they're reaching out to you before they stop reaching.
if your hand reaching out to me is to buy something I didn't want with my money, and then
If that's how
me put it together,
if that's your perspective, then relationships are going to be very hard.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
No. What you're saying has been said to me before, and it seems to be the female perspective, but it's like I was selfish because I didn't want to spend my Friday after a 50-hour work week putting together something I didn't want that was already bought with my money. So, like, but I'm the bad guy there. Like, all she would have had to do is just have somebody put it together. Like,
first of all, okay, when it comes to men putting things together and this to-do list that all of you hate so much, part of it, it's a survival thing. Like, I want to know that you know how to do something. I want to know that you can build something. I want to know that you are a capable person. And it is such a turn on for every single woman when we even see you like hang up a picture. We're like, that's hot. Okay, he's capable. He can do something. He's action oriented.
We gotta
like,
flex
this
on
is
him a little
this
more.
is like this is the
Flex on
easiest
these
way to improve your relationship is to just like do these little things. And yes, you're tired. Everyone gets tired, but like, love is service. That is what love is. It's not about yourself. It's not like you do the thing because like you want it to be reciprocated. It's not to do it because you feel like it. That's super feminine. It's like, oh, well, I didn't feel like it. Right? Like justifying the action by taking the temperature of your feelings is very feminine. That's like not a masculine thing at all. The masculine thing is it doesn't matter how I feel. This is the right thing to do. And I'm going to do that thing. And then if you were to take yourself out of it and look at her and her perspective, you would see like she's not she wants to do it together. It is how she sees bonding and connection. It's not, oh, you could have hired someone. That defeats the entire purpose. Sure, yeah, she could have, but then she's missing out on that opportunity to spend time with you and to like overcome challenges with you. That's also something super important for relationships. So you can do it in like a very easy, fun, playful way, which is like putting together a piece of furniture, or you could do it when like there's a bigger problem and find out how you actually show up as a couple. So all of these things are really important, and I think knowingly or not knowingly, that's why a lot of women do it. It's all of these kind of, we're calibrating the relationship and we're connecting. But I mean, I'm telling you, I have
Calibrating's a little shitty.
No, because it's like
What tests are we running on you guys?
All the time, and I'm sure like probably some of them aren't even active. It's like, how is she maintaining the home? How is she maintaining my peace? How is she?
I feel like we more respond to what's happening.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm not running. I feel like that's kind of like games a little bit.
It's not because it's not like pass or fail, but it's like it's just things that are necessary for that polarity to exist with the relationship. If you leave it up to her and she's got to pay for it, even if it's not her money, she's the one ordering it. You ever been to a guy's house that's never had a serious girlfriend? It's a fucking mattress on a floor, a pop-up chair, and it's not a home. So you can say that's good enough, but it's not, because it's not the energy of like warmth and connection. It's not a home. And you can say that that's all you think that you're worth, and I would say that you deserve better, and it is a huge difference. So when she's like, if you force her to do all of these things, and you, again, like you're smacking her hand down out of every time she reaches for connection, she's going to then go back into her masculine, because now she's in the doing stage. Even if she's just like hiring and finding the connection, and like it's that you're losing all of that intimacy, and now you're putting her in her masculine, which is like the thing that we get yelled at for all the time. Like, she's too masculine, she's too driven, she's not soft. Okay, well, she's not any of those things because you're choosing not to be. So, I mean, you're making a much bigger problem, and you're really dividing the relationship because, like, you're tired.
yeah, and I didn't want to do it, and I don't care if it's there. And it seems like the only way then to be in a healthy relationship is to shut up and just do what the woman wants. I mean, I don't.
That's not what I'm saying.
I feel like there is a little bit of that.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Look, most people that I've spoken with agree with you with terms of how this played out. But I guess I'm okay with it.
It's a difference if that's every single night.
I think that's a little bit of being a man. Is you got sometimes like being a man, being like a family man. I think sometimes you gotta go, and yeah, you gotta do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not what you want at that moment, but it could. But then doing that could result in even more of what you want than it would have been. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We were kids too. It escalated stupid. She was like, "Okay, I'll just send it back," and I was like, "Good. I never wanted it in the first place." And then it just really escalated from there because and I'm like, "Look, I'll just do it." But this is like, let's not do this again. You know what I mean? And the whole look, we broke up. So I mean, it was whatever test that was, I failed it, I guess. But
a test is, I guess, the wrong word, but I don't have a better one at the moment. I don't know. It's just like it's something that women like to see. Like women like to see men do things and do them well and be capable. And like these are very small ways that you can do all of that.
And the 50 hours a week working to provide is not enough.
Everyone is tired.
Because we're starting to go in a circle. When a man has a problem versus a woman has a problem, and they're like, a woman wants to be validated. They don't want you to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They want you to hear like, "Baby, that sucks." Like I'm
another reason why I don't like talking on the phone or texting.
Right, and it's weird because we have to kind of go within ourselves and what our logic brain is telling us. We got to kind of like we got to kind of halt that and give them more what they need in that time. Mm-hmm. Even though like. For us, it's like, all right, well, you probably got to do this. They don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? They want to kind of have a sympathizer, so to speak. While if we're like, yo, so I got this business proposal I'm putting together. I can't figure out how to make it exactly, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? We're not looking for, if they were like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, I'd be like, yeah, all right. But like, what do you think? Like,
but do you know anybody that can help? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're trying to, we're just doing different things, and our brains like work kind of.
It's like a trope at this point, but
I know that's what I mean. It's a cliche.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to sit there and be like,
And I feel like I'm like at the first like couple steps of it. I'm not sure how to like go deeper and even like how to sympathize more. Where I'm almost like you almost want to just be like, yeah, that fucking sucks. Like I'm sorry.
Okay,
is there what's the next level of that?
That's kind of it. I think most of the time is just to be a soundboard. It's like a cathartic release. And then most of the time, if she wants a solution, she'll ask you for a solution. Like, what do you think? What do you think I should do? What do you think about this? What should I have done differently? Right? So if she wants help solving something, she'll ask you. Otherwise, just assume that she just wants to vent. It's just a release.
Yeah. And I guess to us, it's almost like you're not using me for all I'm worth. How my, you know what I mean? Like, I could do that sensitive shit, but like, I got some good ideas in this.
No, but you are though, because that's one of the, I think, beautiful things about the masculine holding space is that's what you're doing, right? Like you are holding space and you're keeping like a strong, sturdy environment energetically so that she can like be that crashing wave, right? It's like allowing her permission and safety to do that. So by you just like being there, it's like letting her be that fluid thing that she's supposed to be. Right? We're supposed to be different. So you can't punish a woman and say, you're so emotional and you're just you're venting and you're spinning your wheels or whatever. Like women are fluid and men are supposed to be a little bit more sturdy. So that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Like you might feel like you should be doing more, but like simply your presence and that is all that's needed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Make sense.
I wish I was gay so bad.
Maybe you are.
Maybe.
Maybe you are.
I'm not. I wish I was.
You'll be a big bear. You were getting hit on at the fights.
Come on.
You got hit on at the fights?
Oh, yeah. You had a couple fans.
it's just like everything, like the whole idea, like women are so complicated. They're not.
letting gays in?
Men know what women want. It's just it's to deny our instinctual programming and lie to ourselves to make them happy. And it's just like I don't want to do that, man. Like
no, your instinctual programming is going to be what's beneficial to copulate. So whatever you're doing is not that.
Yeah, so I'll lie until I hit it and then move on. Like, okay, now the real me, bitch. I don't like talking on the phone. See you later. Like,
that's what most men do.
That's what most men do. But I don't want to be that guy either.
Nah.
Like, dude, it's like we know what we want.
Lying. Huh? I said no one's advocating
and women do
for
it
lying.
Too. Women do it too. Women do it too, right? That's. I even remember you talking about in one of your many failed experiences. You had a girl you met out at a bar. You like going out to bars and doing shit.
I do.
And then she just wants to just kick it at home. You're like, I like doing this. Like this.
No.
is how
Well, we met there. We met at the bar.
I know, but you said.
And then like for the first 6 months, like
she was doing that.
We would meet out. We'd go Jersey Shore. We'd go to the clubs and this and that. And then second girl I lived with, we moved together. We moved in together, and she never wanted to go out. And I was like, oh, this is a bait and switch. She's like, why do you? I thought you'd grow out of this. I was like, this is. How we met. This is where we met. Like this
is what we do.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, look.
So man. I'm saying both sexes or genders or whatever I'm supposed to call them.
I guess. Look, I'm not trying to be difficult or an asshole. And if somebody's listening to this or watching this, and you kind of feel what I'm feeling, and you've been through what I've been through, like I'm talking to you guys out there too. That are just like, man, I don't want to fucking like. Can't somebody like me for me? There's got to be somebody that likes the things that I like and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like. Or is the only way forward in a relationship to be what I would consider like subjugating yourself, to be like, yes, wife, whatever you want, wife, absolutely, wife. Would the lady of the manor want if I would the lady of the manor want if I could?
Well, we're already at an hour.
Hit him. So whatever. This is an episode. Hit him.
I think that you do you think you are the best version of yourself right now? Okay. So I would suggest looking at that, because I think your perspective on like how you see relationships is fucking bad. It is so bad.
In what way?
Like it's just there's a lot of anger, and there's like a lot of blame, and there's like a lot of have to instead of like want to. Like the way that you see everything is like something that you have to put up with. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to find you love at all. It's like, I get to do this thing. So if like your wife asks you to put something together, it's like, I get to do this, not like I have to do this. If she wants to call you and tell you about her day, it's like, I get to do this, not I have to do this. Like everything in this entire conversation has been about like how difficult it is for you. Mm-hmm. That's not how you approach relationships.
You approach relationships from a perspective
from service. A relationship is service. Love is service. It's like, it's not I have to. It's like I want to. I love doing this thing that is going to like light you up, make you feel better. And hopefully that's reciprocated. Hopefully like you're in a great relationship where both of you are doing that and you're both watering each other. And then it's never 50-50. It's like someone is fucking operating at 10 and I'm so happy to pick up the 90, baby. Like that's what it is. It's not like I have to. I'm exhausted. I've had the kids and I'm working. It's like, okay, you're operating at 10%. Like I'm going to operate at 90 and I'm gonna give you a recovery period, and then I know when I'm in that 10% and I'm fucking struggling, like you are gonna do that for me, right? Yeah. And it's not have to, it's like, yes, like I want to do this for you. So I think when you're looking at everything as like a punishment or like something you're surviving, you're never gonna find your person that way. It's heartbreaking. I'm like getting emotional because it's like, it's so off. Not love.
Why do you take the camera off Candice when she's getting emotional?
No, don't show it. Everyone's like she's such a bitch.
No,
you're not coming off like a bitch at all.
You're not coming off like a bitch at all. You're become. You know,
I'm coming off like a guy that doesn't fucking understand the marketplace. I'm coming off like a guy that's way overplaying his hand. Like, buddy.
I don't think that's your issue. I think you're too smart for a lot of these dumb girls you date.
And that might be it too. I don't know the girls that you're talking to.
Yeah, I think Gerard's too smart. So that any of these vapid conversations, that's why he hates texting them or talking to them, because it's below him. You know what I mean?
Let's go with that. I like his theory better.
I think there's a lot, but I think the issue is kind of that you keep going back to this same type of vapid chick.
No doubt about it.
You're like, all right, she's kind of shiny and pretty, whatever. I'll suck or sink 20 hours into it. Suck or sink, whatever. They're both negative, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Wow, you guys have given me a lot to think about here. Isn't this show supposed to be about like making fun of retards or something? Like, what are we doing here? What did I sign up for here?
Threw everyone for a loop with this one.
Some titillating Candice talking about fucking and shit, and then you know.
I thought honestly, I'm kind of blown away. I think you've given me a lot to think about. Legitimately, all jokes aside. Still don't like the fucking texting, but like, I'm sorry I didn't put we were too young, and we were too immature, we were moving too fast, and I'm sorry I didn't put the fucking entertainment system together.
She's moved on and married.
She's got kids.
She ain't watching this trash.
Yeah, she has kids with the guy she cheated on me with.
Oh.
Yeah, but that'll be for another episode. Yeah, see you later.
All right, guys.
That's over. See you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
That's a one.
I gotta go kill myself.
One clip episode. See y'all next week.
Nice.